Thank you, Jim. It is my pleasure to introduce you all to Sarah Reuter. Sarah is meeting into Jack or Jane of all trades. Ambitious from a young age, Sarah saw opportunity to learn and grow. Her childhood friend wasn't wrong when they called her bossy. She scored her first manager role and board seat at the age of just 17. Her professional background includes administrative and executive assistant, project manager, marketing specialist, and director titles. For the past 7 years, Sarah has built and managed an amusement and entertainment business with her husband, Matt. Sarah has created and operated multiple brands and marketing campaigns, including digital social media website, logo design, starting the first with a haunted scheduler, Gone 60 escape games, Gone axe throwing, Gone Mad, Rage Room, the X Bar, and now Gone Social. She is the one you want on your team, asking the hard questions and driving outcomes. Recently, Sarah has taken on a new challenge, working outside of her business in the public relations for a large school district. She's currently serving as the Director of Communications and Community Engagement for Peoria Public Schools. Many, including myself, wonder how she does it all. She just shrugs and chugs some coffee. Welcome, Sarah Reuter.
Water for now.
It's water.
Coffee's in the car still, and I'll probably get some later. Thank you, and I appreciate the bio. It was written for a sales pitch, just so you know, not for local. I don't have an exact presentation necessarily for you guys, so I asked Jeff here to pull up our website. As Ashley said, this is our pride and joy. This is our baby, and I'm also a Peoria native, so I've grown up here, lived here all my life, and I still encounter people in the community who don't know who we are. So really, this is just to kind of introduce Gone Social to you, or maybe reintroduce. How many of you have been to the business? Awesome, very cool. All right, so little history lesson. We will go to the About page for reference, if you'd like. You can see some wonderful images here. But our story actually starts with service, which I love. Volunteerism is it's actually near and dear to my heart. And our path, my husband and I's path, started with me actually volunteering at a haunted house locally. I created that helped facilitate volunteers at this haunted house and messaged them and scheduled them. This is back in like 2009 when a lot of those programs didn't exist. Of course, they're all over the place now. But he wasn't really great at marketing, so I kind of inserted myself there. One thing led to another, like they like to say. And not only did we have a business called Haunt Scheduler, which we still have today. It's a software management program that we sell to haunted houses all over the country. We've also had a couple in Canada and the UK. Very niche market, very interesting market, but we love theatrics and everything that goes along with that, so makes sense. Continuing on, we fell in love with escape games. We played an escape game in Bloomington, and we were like, wow. And we were really pumped, by the way. Like, before we went in there, we're like, oh my gosh, we're going to be locked inside. And, like, we have to solve it. And I love puzzles. So we were really excited. And then they were like, yeah, the key's on the back of the door. And I'm like, so, and they pushed us through. And long story short, we loved the experience, but we were so used to creating that immersive environment that we created at haunted houses to make people that you provide something like that in a puzzle game kind of environment. So Gone in 60 Escape Games, not seconds, was born in 2017. We were originally at the corner of Persimmon and Adams. Some people know it as the Persimmon Lofts, downtown Peoria. And we opened with 2 rooms, We were still working our full-time jobs at that time and couldn't get our other room finished, so we took the plunge, so to speak, and started working for ourselves full-time, which was a really big deal. We created our corporate company called Red Hat Enterprises, that is the umbrella for the multiple businesses, and then started thinking, oh no, we have to make our own money for ourselves now. Business owners in the room, right? So we started looking at ways to continue working for ourselves and being our own bosses. So that meant, what's next? We had actually seen axe throwing at one of our conventions for the haunt industry that we go to regularly. And I was like, that looks really cool. Let's do that. And he was like, okay. And so, of course, we gotta get a bigger location. We loved the warehouse district. We loved what it represented, still do. We were very the weird kids of business owners in new circles. What's an escape game? Axe throwing. So it really fit the market, we thought, with the warehouse district. You know, it's trying to be revitalized, it's trying to grow. We felt the same as business owners. So just the opposite corner, so now we're on Washington and Maple. There is a building that the Katie Kim Group developed called The Block. Venue Shiska is in that building, if you're familiar with the venue. And so now is Gone Axe Throwing at the time. We opened April of 2019 after, I think, working on it just that previous fall and getting it going and getting it up and running. I like to joke that we do all our own stunts. My husband is very handy, and just to prove that I am too, he got me a tool set for Valentine's Day one year, and I was not mad. I was not mad. I loved it. It was amazing. So we do a lot of our own work, also because as new industry, entertainment, amusement, of course, is hard anyways, but especially back then, you know, some people might have never even heard of axe throwing to this day. But, you know, getting loans from a banking environment, contractors and things like that, you know, this wasn't a possibility for us. Hey, Greg.
Hi, Sarah.
How are you? We'll go over that story later. So I tried to convince my husband at that time that a rage room would be amazing to add to our repertoire. There was a business in Bloomington, and the owners had some health problems, were trying to sell it. And I was like, this would be amazing, this would be great. Ironically, he was like, no, I think that's too dangerous. So I was like, okay, I'll put it to the side. Then the pandemic hit. I mean, we were gangbusters at the beginning of 2020. Winter is our busiest season with all kinds of events and everything. And besides being worried of how I would support my family and everything, I actually kind of had a bit of a mini break. I don't know how many else business owners might have felt that, again, besides the money panic. But yeah, all of a sudden we were closed. Now what do we do? So we also had plans to end our lease at our other escape game location that we still had. We had plans to do new games. You know, what are we going to do now? So I finally convinced him to open Gone Mad Rage Room in October of 2020 once we were able to reopen, and it was safe to and everything. And I think the only way I convinced him was that I said, everybody's really pissed right now. And I think it'd be helpful. So it still took some convincing. So we've got 3 businesses now under the same roof. Still love the names, still all appropriate. But from a standpoint of trying to get everyone in the community to understand, like, we're all one business, we're all under one location, Mind you, we also have a kitchen with food and beverage at this location, which I'll go into too. We decided that we need to rebrand. And this was just last year that we changed our name to Gone Social. So while you'll still see a lot of things for Gone Axe Throwing, Gone in 60 Escape Games, and Gone Mad Rage Room, we're really trying to focus on everybody understanding that we are one big social place to hang out, have fun, hence the name Gone Social. Yes, red hat, the corporate name, very simple. My husband always wears a red hat. So I should have won the Rage Room fight, right? But we are not just those core activities, although those are the ones that are bookable. So the Rage Room, the Escape Games, and the Axe Throwing. We also have other things at our location that are tons of fun, which would include pinballs. We have about 8 to 9 pinball machines, and we actually have monthly tournaments. Just this past year, or not past year, past month, we also have a women's specific pinball tournament, which is awesome too. Sometimes all the guys win, which is not fair. So there's a women's tournament for that, for pinballs. We also have some other arcades that are fun as well, but including skee ball, which is a personal favorite of mine. We're getting additional arcade games coming in May that are a little bit more modern, I guess I would say, like some driving simulators, like with a video wall. We will by no means be around one, but we will have a nice little arcade section, including a arcade simulation of beer pong. It's so cool. I should have you find the video, but I won't. But the ball for the beer pong actually pops up and it just floats in the air. That's part of it. I'm easily amused. So those are coming in May. We also have food and beverage, and we expanded that in, I think, 2021, about reopening time. We had some restaurant revitalization grants to utilize to try to expand our food and beverage. That was very helpful. Before, it was like soda cans and pizza, frozen pizza. So we offer wings, flatbreads, and we also offer a catering type menu as well. Limited, nothing like yours, very simple, in-house type of things for our larger groups that are like, a taco bar and a dog and brat bar or like a pasta bar type of thing. Really good food. The beverage selection is really, for a very small bar, is very awesome as well. We have 20 taps for draft beer. We're constantly cycling our craft beer selection, which is really awesome. Great spirit selection, wine and some cans, and also non-alcoholic beverages, which is very inclusive. Most recently, we have started getting into the live music section too. Again, still trying to grow, still trying to, what can we offer as a social environment? So last year, actually 2022, late 2022, is when we started doing what we call the X Bar events. So we've kind of tried to brand our bar area portion, live music, as the X Bar. It's kind of like, everything shuts down and then things kind of switch over to the X Bar. All the pointy, sharp objects get put away. They're not out and about. We even have a front counter that gets rolled away, and a dance floor is available for people. We've done rock shows, but our bread and butter is electronic dance music, or EDM. There's not a lot of locations for that host that kind of music, and so we're providing that venue for those who love dance music, which includes my husband. But yeah, we do some other things like rock shows as well, which is really great. People have a lot of time and a lot of fun after hours. So all of this has really helped us offer some really robust, well-rounded venue specialty type things for people. Corporate events like recognition at corporate places or organizations, holiday events, whether or not that is a business or a family. We've hosted reunions in the summer, graduation parties, which of course is coming up. I have 3 graduations to go to. Well, that's in one day, and then I have 2 kids. Yeah, it's crazy. All different schools, it's great. Birthday parties, bachelorette parties, even receptions, small little receptions that people have wanted. And just what I was talking about earlier with Leah there is fundraising opportunities. We kind of tried to get it started last summer, and we're really going to try and do it again this summer. But the premise is we're very slow in the summer. People don't want to be indoors. They want to be outside enjoying the weather, of course. So our idea was, well, let's give back to the community. I mean, we do a lot of gift cards and stuff, which I won't get you. So let's give back. Plenty of people are familiar with the process, like the Chick-fil-A, Dairy Queen kind of fundraiser events where you provide the voucher and you get a portion of the sales back. So same kind of idea that we're trying to do at Gone Social, where if you bring people in, they present the voucher, we give you a portion back. Unfortunately, we can't do that on alcohol, but your food and the activities and things like that, we are looking to do. Let's see here. That was all the about stuff. On our website, it talks about large groups or parties, team building type activities. Of course, it's great to work in a group. For large groups, axe throwing is probably the best route. We have 6 lanes. Each lane has 2 targets. There might be a picture on the axe throwing page of that environment. Nope, not there, unfortunately. But that goes through all the things that you can do as a team building. We even accept custom events. So we're open Tuesday through Sunday during your most popular times. But let's say you want to do something on a Monday. Well, we have a custom event form that you can fill out, and as long as we can get the staff ahead of time, we open up, or opening early on a day for like a lunch thing. We've done plenty of lunch meetings for people, or even doing things later as well. We have a school's after prom from about an hour and a half away that is coming to do an after prom from midnight to 4 a.m. like a lock-in. So fun time. So as far as escape games, I will say we started off very heavily with the escape games, the traditional ones. How many people have played an escape game before? Okay, like them? Yeah, love them. Right now we only have virtual reality escape games. We do not have any traditional ones right now, which is the picture that you see there. But down at the bottom of this page shows you what that virtual reality would look like. So you're wearing the Oculus and you're in that digital environment, which is also very cool because you can be on a pirate ship, or you can be in a castle, or you can be underwater. So it's still the premise. You're still solving puzzles and clues and everything. So it's a good time. Will we have traditional escape games again? I hope so. But we like to go all out for ours for sure and create that immersive environment. If you've ever done ours, you understand. But right now, we just have the virtual reality escape games. And here. If anybody has any questions, of course, I will take them. I will say that I also have some info on the back table as far as brochures go. I apologize.
I have a question. As a lawyer, I need to know, what's your liability insurance like for throwing things and raging and breaking things?
You want to know amount? Or
Do you have a special
amount?
policy?
It's hard to find people who will cover, for sure, yes. We're actually, our NIAX code, if anybody's familiar with that, is the same umbrella as your large amusement operators, your Six Flags. I'm we're not operating heavy machinery here. But yes, it is a pretty penny. It is large. And yes, we do cover it and have insurance.
How much space do you have at your facility, open space? Have you ever heard of bowling?
Bowling.
Look it up. It's football bowling.
Oh, no.
Bowling. We have, honestly, the space that is where the escape games were was actually going to be a laser tag space.
Oh, okay.
And then it switched because we thought it was definitely way too hard to have 2 locations. So we're like, we'll just bring them over here. We've had many ideas, but Foley has not been on that one, so I will look it up. Thank you. We have about 12,000 square feet total that we rent. Of course, the lanes take up a good portion of that amount of space. With our traditional escape rooms no longer being there, it has opened up our back area to a much more conducive to having large groups just kind of standing around socially. And that is our goal, to have more of those little, I like to call them pods, for lack of a better word, but little areas that are comfy, like think seating, maybe a TV, some tables that smaller groups can just congregate around and stay and have fun. And then, you know, if you get bored with the conversation, you can go play pinball.
Where did the name Gone come from?
So that'd be an excellent question for my husband, and I've asked him before. I think he always had Gone in 60 escape games in his head. Why? I'm not sure. He does love fast manual cars, so that could be, you know, the Gone in 60 kind of reference. When we looked into starting axe throwing, though, it just kind of popped in my head, Gone axe throwing, to try to have some of that brand consistency, and my immediate thought was Gone fishing. Like, it's kind of like, okay, well, I'm gone fishing, I'm gone axe throwing. And then of course the Rage Room, it just flowed. It was great. I'm like, gone mad for the Rage Room. So it worked out very well, but it wasn't intentional, except for just the initial idea of my husband's.
Thanks for coming, and thanks for providing a great business for the Peoria area.
Thank you.
I've used your Rage Room. I've used your axe throwing.
And for those who don't know, do you want to spend like just a few seconds explaining like what it is? Because I didn't do a service. I didn't go into it.
Which one?
The Rage Room.
The Rage Room.
Yeah.
You're locked in a room.
You're not locked.
I told my kids that we were locked
That's
in. They provide safety gear, weapons, and a
Weapons.
jumpsuit,
Weapons.
and you can destroy just a bunch of stuff that's in this room.
Mostly glass.
Which leads me to my question: where do you get the items to destroy?
That's an excellent
Do you
question.
take donations?
We take donations.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
No, we definitely do take donations. When we decided to first open, I was the garbage lady. I was running around in our vehicle, you've probably seen it around, picking up people's items on their community pickup day. That was my summer 2 years ago. Oh my gosh, 4 years ago now. A lot of pickups from nonprofits. So yeah, we definitely work with our nonprofits, ask them to set aside things that they know they can't sell, things that won't sell, that are glass related, and things that people no longer want. A lot of it is picture frames that are old, records, cassette tapes, VHS, DVDs, things that people aren't necessarily using or buying anymore very much. But we definitely do take donations for that, yes.
Great.
Thank you.
I missed my garbage day,
Mm.
so I've got some things I may drop by.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Unfortunately,
Thanks.
we cannot take TVs. That's another
well.
big question. Unfortunately, we
Computer
cannot.
equipment, though.
The old box TVs might work well.
Not
I
the old
just-
one, yeah.
I just wanted to add that I've been there several times, and a couple of years ago, I'm the past president of the Illinois Health Information Management Association. We had our board transition meeting, which was a bunch of health information professionals, and we went axe throwing. We're having our next transition meeting in Peoria this year, and they asked to do it again. So just 10 minutes before I came here, I didn't realize this was our program today. I had just gotten that email, so.
Very cool. Yes. We rely very heavily on word of mouth. again, it's not a very well-known industry, not very well-known activities. We're getting there, of course. But if somebody was like, yeah, let's go do a rage room, you'd probably be like, I don't know about that. But when your friend comes to you and you're like, I did the rage room and it was amazing, you need to go with me next time. So we really rely heavily on that. And fortunately, we have repeat customers like that. So thank you.
We will say the food is great, the cocktails are even better. But if you're nervous or you're not sure that you want to participate in any of these, the staff are great. They hold your hand the entire way and are very knowledgeable about what's going on. But what's really fun is having a cocktail and watching people do the virtual escape game, because all you see is people running around and you don't know what they're looking at. So it's quite fun just to be an observer of these games as well.
Yeah, and so there's a window for the virtual reality, which is fun to watch. If you're back near the rage room area, it's not very visible to the pub, like the area at large, but for other people who are there as a big group, you can watch each other rage. We can also pull it up at the bar for if you're renting the entire facility out, and if people are everywhere and going back and forth. Like a lot of times our setup will be, people come in Axtra and then 2 people at a time go back to the rage room and then come back and do more Axtra and get food and drink, play pinballs. So definitely a very social environment.
Do you have the blow-up fighting suits that people wear?
That would be amazing. I'd probably hog it all the time. Come here, employee. No. No, unfortunately, we do not. I think it was called Knocker Ball, that was in the mall for a while. We kept wanting to do that and take that out with our kids. My husband and I have a blended family. We have 7 children together.
Wow.
And they were all that tween teenager age group when we started this business. And if you have older kids, you understand that it's very difficult once they're past that Chuck E. Cheese, Monkey Joe's, elevate age to have that connection with them and do something with them, short of playing video games with them maybe, or snapping them on Snapchat or something like that. So that was another purpose that my husband and I had, as far as this is something that you can do with your family. Escape games, we take as young as 8 years old. Axe throwing you can do as young as 10. And we just make sure that they, number one, can listen to the rules, of course, and are receptive to that. But other than that, it's just arm strength. We have different varying hatchets. They're not really your fireman's axe. Think your small camping hatchet, of various sizes and lengths within standards and requirements that would be good for smaller kids, and so to speak. The rage room we allow up to 12 years and up to do the rage room. Of course, parent guardian has to be there, and everything for safety and waivers are required and everything.
No, thanks.